Hey, what's happening, gamers? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the final episode of Sega Superstars Tennis. We're gonna try to beat Choo Choo. We're gonna do some two-player. We're gonna whatever. But this is it. That is all. So tomorrow will be the start of the Mario Kart Marathon series, which maybe we'll start with Super Mario Kart. I'm not very good at the Super Nintendo game, so the plan was to do the N64 game, the Wii game, or sorry, the N64 GameCube Wii, maybe the original Wii U. I don't know. We've already covered Mario Kart 8 extensively on this channel for years, so I don't know if I want to go through it again.
Mario Kart 8!
Yeah, if you think about it, we've been covering Mario Kart 8 since like probably 2013, because it came out on the Wii U first, and then in 2017 it had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then for years afterwards, it was like 3 years, they kept adding new DLC to it, which was brilliant.
Life of that.
It's a long time, yeah.
So no Mario Kart 9. It's going to be Mario Kart World.
Yep, Mario Kart 9 is called Mario Kart World. It's basically Mario Kart Forza, which, you know, Forza's cool. It's an open world racing game, so.
Oh, that's what people were saying. It was Forza because it's open world.
Forza and the crew, both are open world racers, yeah. 100%. Sega Superstars Tennis!
Yeah, Nintendo's been taking notes from other games.
It seems like it, yeah. So anyway, guys, if you could watch the shorts, that'd be great. I have no idea why we keep losing viewers. It's crazy. We're killing ourselves over here, and we're still, like, YouTube's purging views like crazy. It's insane. So hopefully Mario Kart tomorrow will help build things up. But thank you to those of you that are watching the shorts. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And we got tournament, we got matches, single match. I really wish you could actually choose the levels you want to play, but it doesn't let you do that. Like, it's all random. Like, if you could actually choose the stages you want to play on, that would be pretty cool, but it doesn't do that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it just puts you on a random stage, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we got to see some Donkey Kong gameplay on the Treehouse thing. Pretty interesting, and I felt like they took some notes from Jedi Survivor, actually, because he's hanging on a lot of things like a Jedi.
Oh, the monkey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And your newsletter will be up at 5 o'clock-ish.
Thanks for doing that, Luke.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I was going to divide the Treehouse stream into 2 streams, but then I thought, well, I might as well just go all the way through.
Well, they're probably still doing the Treehouse right now, right?
They ended for the day, like,
they
right
did?
at 3 o'clock.
Oh, they ended at 3 o'clock. Okay, that's handy.
Actually, they probably ended at 2 o'clock, but I was an hour behind.
Ah. That's fine.
But actually, our stream is probably a half an hour less than most people's, because I cut out all the musical interludes because I just fast-forwarded. Since I was an hour behind, I could fast-forward.
Oh, they cut out breaks. They had breaks?
They had breaks between each segment. And the last thing they showed was Link and Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube.
Yep.
They ended with that.
I am excited about that because, like, it's high definition, but I just feel bad for people that were playing, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel bad for the people that wanted the Wind Waker HD from Wii U, because that was a fixed version of the Wind Waker. They cut down the boat segments, they made navigating the ocean easier.
Yeah.
They added so many improvements to re-release it as the HD Wind Waker.
Oh, wow.
Including, like, changing the ratio, the screen size.
For which system? For Switch?
No.
Or for Wii U?
When they redid
And so they're not going to bring that version
Nope.
to the Switch Online.
The version that's coming to Switch Online is the Wind Waker, the original, with all the problems that the original had.
Wow.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, they did a comparison of on the Treehouse of Switch 2, Breath of the Wild, and Switch 2, and Switch 1, Breath of the Wild, and then they compared Switch 2, Tears of the Kingdom, Switch 1, Tears of the Kingdom. And honestly, yes, you can see more defined in the Switch 2, but honestly, like I was saying, I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I just feel like the Switch 1 is the one I prefer because that's the one I remember. That's the one that gives me nice feelings of playing it. Like Like the Switch 2 one is almost overdone to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's over glistening and bright and defined, over defined almost. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, I'm surprised about. Like they're re-releasing the 2 Zelda games. They told the price now. So how much do you think Nintendo was selling the enhanced versions of both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? What do you think is the market price?
I thought someone said it was $90.
No. What do you think the market price is?
For both of them combined.
For both of them combined? No, it would be more than 90.
$170.
No.
I don't know.
Okay, so in order to get the Zelda Breath of the Wild, like the HDR or 4K version of the game, you have to pay $69.99 at launch. So even though the game is back from 2017, Nintendo is expecting you to pay $70 for it.
And I thought there was something like if you already had it, maybe you could get it for less.
Yeah, but we don't know how much less. It's not letting me do super chat.
Also, I'm gonna go downstairs and turn off the air fresheners because I have these little air thingies and I open them. I open them all, so I'm gonna shut them so that they're not on because I think it's making your head hurt and you cough.
I'm not actually coughing. Okay, baby. That was weird. They wouldn't let us turn on super chat goals. That was terrifying. Oh, well, we gotta mute this, guys. Sorry. This stage is bad. This stage is copyright, but I'll get through it as quickly as I can. See the randomness of this? You never know when they're gonna do this stuff. It's like, if you could actually choose the courses, that would be one thing, but... You know, you can't. You can't choose them. So yeah, that to me is crazy. The fact that that game is going to be $70 for something that was on the Switch in 2017. I don't even think that right now Breath of the Wild is $70 on the Switch. I don't believe so. I don't think so. Let's see. Yeah, okay, there you go. So right now, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on Nintendo Switch is $59.99 for physical, and then it's like, I think 54 or something on digital. So they want you to pay like $69.99 for the brand new Breath of the Wild HDR. Tears of the Kingdom.
I don't know. Maybe I just smell chemicals all over me.
So the Breath of the Wild game will have all the DLC and everything for $69.99. But it looks like, if I'm reading this right, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be $70 on its own, or it could be $80. There are no features on Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think. I don't think there's features on Tears of the Kingdom.
They just showed it on the thingy that you can get an app. You can get an app on your phone and you can share things like you can give somebody food, a friend.
You can do an app thing, and that's why they're charged? No, that's ridiculous.
There's a GPS on that app.
A GPS?
QR code of something you built and have somebody make it in the game. Don't think sharing food, a GPS, and having somebody build something is enough to charge.
No. No, I don't believe so.
Well, that's why I figured they were charging the extra for
Hey people, how's it going? Alright, so we need to clear this, beat these guys. Beat these guys, beat these fools, bye-byes. That way we can get the music back on. And gotta get the music back on. Alright, bye-bye now. Change court. Bam. Well, that was easy. It's only a problem if people don't have the game and don't have the expansion pack. I'd still say charging more for Breath of the Wild than what it is on Switch is insane for new players because, like, yes, it's an enhanced version of the game with all the DLC and stuff, but still, that's kind of insane because the game is so old.
Maybe they feel like the game looks as good as any modern game now.
I don't think Breath of the Wild looks as good as any modern game right now. Even with the HDR stuff, no. No, it doesn't look anywhere near as good as Ghost of Tsushima and some of this other stuff. No. Not a true Nintendo fan? I'm just being real. It's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Alright guys and gals, there's less of you here today for whatever reason. So we're gonna have to push the shorts harder. So, like, they've completely changed how YouTube Shorts are. Let me go over this for you real quick. So, because TikTokers complained, YouTube Shorts are now viewed by how many clicks they get. So, when you see a short, click it as many times as possible. You don't even have to watch the short all the way through. You can either click the short and have it run in the background, like, without re-clicking it. They've completely changed their model of how things are done. Because TikTokers complained they weren't getting as many views, and apparently YouTube listened. So they've gone back to how shorts were viewed like 2 years ago. So just click the link whenever you see the link. Easily 30 people could turn a short into hundreds and hundreds of views in an hour. Just from only 30 people here. So I mean, that's the way we're going to fight YouTube, is we're going to use the whole shorts thing against them. So you can either run the shorts playlist, that will help tremendously, or you can just click individual shorts. It doesn't matter. Both now count views based on click ratios, not actually watching them over and over again or whatever. So you can watch the short playlist, or you can just click any short you want. But we really still have to push shorts. Live streams strangle views, but live streams are the only way content creators get paid if they hit 1,000. Okay, so the music should be back now. But what I was doing today, I woke up, people were calling the Switch 2 the new Wii U, and I don't think that's a fair comparison. The reason why I don't believe that's a fair comparison is the Wii U, people forget, had 32 launch titles, right? And out of those 32 launch titles, 12 of them were ports from PS3 and Xbox. Only 12. Every other game that released that year for the Wii U was a brand new game.
15 love.
You had brand new entries like Zombie U, you had the brand new Monster Hunter then, you had the Batman Arkham game was a port from a year ago. The Assassin's Creed game was new. It came out that year, 2012. There was all that other stuff. And then by 2013, for the most part, the Wii U had tons of brand new releases that were, you know, prevalent in 2013 for both PS3 and Xbox. So it wasn't really a port system, it was a system that was receiving the same new games as everybody else. For up to 2 years. But what killed the Wii U was its name. So people didn't buy it. The gamers that did buy it, they were eating good because they had lots of games. And they had lots of good games. With you know, that cool, like, screen and some of the other nuances that Nintendo had with the Wii U. But what killed that system outright was the name created brand confusion. And nobody upgraded it, like, really. You only had, like, it was like 17 or 18 million people worldwide got the Wii U. That's significantly less than the people that had the GameCube and the people who had the N64. So it was a huge flop. And the Wii itself, like, they were coming off the Wii, which sold 100 million. And they couldn't even, like, put a big dent in anything. So when the Switch came out, the Switch changed everything for Nintendo. It was a hit right off the box. But what's funny to me is Nintendo is not, they're not going back to what made the Switch a success. The Switch on launch, like during its first year, it came out spring of 2017, hitting a grand slam with Breath of the Wild right out the box, right? But then it had a total of 11 first-party games featuring Nintendo characters in its first year. That's March all the way through December of 2017. Linky, don't do that. Linky! You little monkey. He's like, did I do that? Is the window open or no?
Yes.
Okay. So you had new IPs that came out that year would have been ARMS. You had Mario Sports.
You want me to make sure it's open upstairs?
Yeah, it had Mario Sports. You had Mario Rabbids was new. You had only 2 Wii U ports for the Switch. And the Wii U ports were Pokken Tournament DX, which was an enhanced version of Pokken Tournament, which came out a year and a half prior on the Wii U. And you had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which Nintendo milked for years with DLC. And that was the only really big Wii U thing. 1-2 Switch was a brand new game. Snipper Clips was a brand new IP, which never came back, but it was there. Splatoon 2 was that year. You know? You had Mario Odyssey, you had Mario Kart Deluxe, Pokken Tournament. You had, like, wave after wave of big games. Plus, you had, like, solid third-party support all through the first year. And then the second year was better because you had Smash Brothers and you had all kinds of stuff. So, you know, Nintendo knew what they were doing. And it just seems like with the Switch 2, like, as of right now, you know, because they'll have a Nintendo Direct in June, most likely. But they're only really talking about the games that are coming out, like, June, July. What? You make yourself whatever you want. Just open the windows. Yeah, Pokken was a Wii U port, yes. But as far as I know, Jotaro, there was only 2 big Wii U ports in 2012 at launch, and that was Pokken and that was Mario Kart, or not Mario Kart. That was Pokken and Mario Kart, like, at launch. And then the new Super Mario Bros. U that came out. Oh, wait, no. Wait, 3. Wasn't New Super Mario Bros. That released on the Switch? Wasn't that a port of the Wii U game? I believe it was. So you had three ports at launch for Switch. A better version of Mario Kart 8, Pokken Tournament, and New Super Mario Bros., I think. Or maybe I'm thinking New Super Mario Bros. Was on Wii U. I don't remember. But yeah, Wii U had a staggering amount of launch titles. 32 games. Out of the 32 games that released on the Wii U in 2012, this channel covered 19 of them. We covered 19 out of 32 games. We couldn't show them all, but we showed some of our favorites.
Yeah, so they showed a weird, they showed an interesting game on the, like, treehouse thing that people kind of were hoping the game was free.
40 love.
They're not going to do free games anymore. They explained why. So,
Yes.
the reason why you had free packing games with the Wii, Nintendo DS, I don't know if Nintendo Switch had a free game. I don't think so. Reggie Fils-Aimé, Nintendo of America president, said that it was a good idea to have free games bundled with the system as a means to show people what the system can do, as well as something people can play right out of the bat. So, it wasn't Iwata or Miyamoto's idea to have Wii Sports as a pack-in game. That was Reggie, the president of Nintendo of America's idea. And it was a brilliant idea because everyone who bought a Wii
Shadow.
had the ability to play a game right away. And I believe there was a pack-in game for the Wii U as well. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Super Mario Brothers or something. Nintendo of Japan does not like to give people free games.
Yeah.
And since there is no, you know, there's no Reggie, there's no brilliant genius marketer at Nintendo of America, Bowser is a yes man. Bowser is essentially the Jim Lee of the video game industry. Bowser does what his, you know, Japan bosses tell him to do. He doesn't offer ideas. He's not an innovator. He's not a, you know, he does what he's told to do. That's the type of CEO he is. Now, he's a nice guy and everything, but in terms of, like, tenacity and intelligence and knowing what he's doing in the game industry, he doesn't. He's a marketer who came in and worked at Nintendo under Reggie Fils-Aimé. He was Reggie's understudy, but he's never really done anything major for Nintendo since coming on board, like, you know, shortly after the Switch came out. Reggie was still around when the Switch first released in its year one. Reggie stepped down and retired in 2018, I think. 2018, 2019, one of those. I want to say it was 2018, the year of Smash Brothers, I'm pretty sure.
And you got a highlighted message.
Got a highlighted message?
Game, set, and match. Shadow.
Thank you, J Cat.
Amy.
Says, hi Luke, what would happen if WB sold the Looney Tunes?
Not even a challenge.
WB's not going to sell Looney Tunes. What they'll do is they'll sell the license for people to make Looney Tunes show. What you're witnessing with WB right now is essentially what happened when I was a kid. Is Fox Kids didn't own the rights to WB, but they were licensed out the use of WB characters. And it also wasn't uncommon for WB's cartoons to be on other networks besides Fox. So when I was a kid, you had Warner Brothers characters on Fox, you had Warner Brothers characters on the WB, which was a network in around the United States. It was known as WB Network. And you also had them on Cartoon Network and TBS. So they were spread all over the place. UPN. So what's happening right now is instead of everything being in-house, like Looney Tunes on Boomerang or Cartoon Network or wherever, HBO Max, they're licensing out their characters to make more money. So, like, Looney Tunes is going to show up on Netflix and Hulu again, maybe Disney Plus, and the whole HBO Max thing is going to get smaller and smaller and just go back to, like, movies and, like, exclusives. But, like, shows like Batman the Animated Series and Looney Tunes and all this other stuff are going to get licensed out to other companies. That doesn't mean that they're going to buy the intellectual property of Looney Tunes or Batman. That just means you're going to be seeing WB scattered all over different streaming platforms and television again, just like when I was a kid. That was normal growing up, you know? And it was a very lucrative thing because Warner Brothers made a lot of money by having networks pay them money to have use of their characters to make shows and video games and all this other stuff. So it's going back to the 90s model. Just like video game prices of games are going back to how they were in 1991, which is, a lot of people forget this, but cartridges, a brand new game like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter 2 cost $74 in 1991. The system itself for the Super Nintendo was $199, plus tax, that's around $210, $215. With inflation today, that would be $410.
Wow.
Going by what people would make. So the system back then, $200 may not seem like a lot now, but 30 years ago, $200 was the equivalent of $400 to $500. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
So the games themselves were anywhere between $74. The starting was around $60. The lowest for like a kid's game would be $39.98. And those games are terrible, by the way, like Rocky and Bullwinkle, all that other stuff. The really good IPs like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Mario, all that other stuff, their starting was around $59.99. And then some companies would charge more, up to like $74 or $80. It was like $74.96, $79.99. And the controllers were about $50 a piece, like for first party. That's why third party controllers became like more popular, is because they were cheaper. They were like $20.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have gone back in time to where game prices are going to be right around the same price of what... Well, actually, not right around the same price of what the console is. Console's $450. Consoles, when I was a kid, was like $210, $250 at the most. Some maybe $300, but those were like things like Jaguar and 3DO. Those were really expensive adult systems. Adult systems, they say. But game sales, console like games, Genesis and Super Nintendo were $50 to $70, depending on the game. And right now, you can actually blame PlayStation for this, because PS5 games went up in price. They went up by $10. PS4 games, their average was anywhere between $59.99 and $49.99. When PS5 came out, game prices raised by $10. And now Nintendo's raising them again another $10, so we're essentially back. People said, hey, I want to go back to the 90s. Well, you're getting 90s prices again. Huh. The only thing that's not 90s prices is groceries, and, like, you could go to Taco Bell in the 90s, 1993 or 1994, get a 7-layer burrito for 89 cents.
Yeah.
You could get a double cheeseburger and a milkshake for $2.50 at McDonald's. They had what was known as the 99-cent menu, and they had all this other stuff. Right. So while other aspects is returning to the 90s, like game prices and stuff like that, we're still not paying the price of food that we did in the 90s. Nor are we paying what the price of rent would be.
We're eating good, literally.
Right. So the apartment cost today for a 2-bedroom apartment in the East Coast is about like $1,700. Is the going, like, if
depending on what state you live in, it could be $3,000.
Depending on the state you live in.
It could be a lot.
If you're in New York City, a 1-bedroom apartment, even like not right in the Manhattan district, you're looking at $2,400 for just a 1-bedroom. 2-bedroom will get you close to $3,000 in the New York City area. If you go to where I was born, like the Peekskill area in New York, like a 2-bedroom apartment where my grandparents lived right now would be about $2,100 a month.
Great.
In Pennsylvania, a two-bedroom apartment, like for new residents, not people who've already lived there, it's about like $1,800. So for new residents, for people who've been living at the same place, the joy of getting an apartment when it was like $1,200 or $1,100 is they only raise it by $35 a year, usually $35, $40 a year. So we won't be paying the cost of our Pennsylvania apartment for new people, like the cost right now of $1,700 for like another 3 years, probably. Unless there's like a massive rise in inflation or something. I don't know. But for video game prices, yeah, you're going to start paying for what it is in the 90s. And that's not even the scary thing. Now, Sony has been talking about for months before Nintendo came to the scene that they want to raise game prices to $100 a game. Is what Sony and Xbox are trying to do. So people are mad at Nintendo for $80. If they keep it at $80, the other companies are going to raise it more. Which would be terrible. My gosh, we just can't beat these guys. I lost. Game, set, and match. Yeah, these dudes destroyed me. That's crazy that I can't beat these guys.
Strong enough.
It wasn't even close. It was a 2-minute and 50-second match and got decimated.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's funny that people were giving you a hard time about talking to people while playing because, you know, we were looking at the group chat today on, the game chat today for, and thank you again, man, this person is savage in the comments section.
Where?
One of our game presentation things. I wrote like 7 comments.
7 comments about what?
Game chat, all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, the reason why I don't like the game chat is because I think that's going to be a bad idea because everybody thought Xbox Live was a great idea. And then you had 5-year-olds cussing you out like it was an R-rated movie.
Right.
So now, not only because Nintendo's not going to regulate things the way they used to. That was Iwata and Miyamoto.
It's too much work because you have to sit there and listen in.
Right, Miiverse, they you know, censored. They're not going to censor this new one.
It's never going to happen again because Japanese people are probably a lot more polite than Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it takes so much work. I know for a fact, like, for myself, like, if I have a group of people that are somewhat decent human beings and no one is making any problems, it's a joy to sit there and be like, just checking the chat to see if there are any spam bots, and that's it. But, like, if you have a toxic chat where everyone is cussing you out, it is very annoying. It's emotionally draining to have to mod that for hours. Imagine having to do that. Listen in and constantly ban people. Like on the Miiverse, like having to sit there every time a 8-year-old says an F-bomb, you have to ban them or time them out. It's just
well, not only that, but you're going to see the person's face while doing it. So, I mean, you know, it's basically like Nintendo's group chat thing. It's essentially like Discord, or it's like a like a mini YouTube channel. Like it reminds me of, you know how there's a streaming feature on PlayStation 4 where you can hook up, you can live stream and, you know, put your face on there and stuff like that. That's what it looks like. It looks like Nintendo's doing its own, like, streaming show. Where, I mean, the webcam is amazing because it has the ability to actually cut you out without a green screen. That's terrifying.
JCat says no problem for the highlighted mess.
So, I mean, you know, that's a very interesting thing.
It's like you're a YouTuber, Mr. Luke, says Miss Tiana.
Yeah, to some extent.
Honestly, a lot of people in the chat today felt that they would probably do maybe the group chat with your voice on it and share it with friends, but most of them would not get the camera. Because, I mean, a lot of us agreed that, like, we don't want to show ourselves when we're playing a game, like rolling out of bed and playing a game with our friends, like with our, like, you know, in your pajamas with your hair looking like Vegeta. Like, I don't want to, like, get all cute and primped so that I can play a game with my friends so they can see what I look like. Like, I just want to roll out of bed and play the game. Or at the end of the night after a hard day of work, you don't want to show your face when you're exhausted. Like, I don't know why people are, when I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted. I don't want to show my face when I'm really tired, which is all the time. So I just don't want to show my face in general. I've never seen anyone do Discord with a face cam before.
Oh, they have. But I mean, I don't like that. I think that is going to be a huge problem. So they also have, like, there's a new app coming out for the Nintendo Switch 2 for parents. It's an app where you can monitor what your kid is doing, as well as you can shut the system down after they've exceeded their amount of playtime from your phone.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and they did mention with the group game chat with your face that you can have parental controls where they can't do it until they're a certain age. I think that's the best way. Like, if you're over 18 and you're using the app, then I guess it's up to you if you want to. I also see potential, like, I mean, there's a lot of problems. Anytime you have a video camera on yourself, there could be a lot of problems. like, a
15
lot.
love.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, as long as, like, I think that's the best thing. How can they possibly monitor it? Also, like, you know, some people brought up a really interesting point in my chat, and I don't really know. I think, like, I heard some person saying that, and a couple people saying they don't really want to show the whole world what they look like. Like,
15 off.
what about security purposes? Like, do you really want to show random people online what you look like in the privacy of your own home? Like, you know, then they can somewhat see, like, I don't know.
Well, you
it's
can
kinda, it's
you
like,
can approve who sees you and
it's
who
sharing
doesn't.
your identity with, you know, people
Yeah.
online. You know, you don't even. What if they see you? I mean, like, there's all kinds of potential. Okay, let me just give you an example how that could register or mess up with your security. One time I was at I know this is so
40,
stupid,
30.
but one time I was at a restaurant and I didn't realize that, like, somebody was like, "Oh, hi, Amber," and I was like, what? And, like, I had an Amber necklace on. I didn't realize my name was on my necklace. But I'm just saying, it's like that with your video camera chat. Like, somebody could recognize you from the video camera chat, and then you could think that they know you or something, but they actually don't. They just saw you on your video, on your camera. Like, it could actually be a potential, like, risk, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah. Like, I do think that people under 18 shouldn't really use a video camera showing themselves. I don't know, that's what I personally feel. But, whatever.
40 love.
Yes. I agree to that.
I don't know, that's just my personal
Game.
opinion.
Shadow.
I mean, it's a great idea, but the world is so weird now that, you know. But I think that, I mean, if you leave it up to parents, that they decide, you know.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I didn't like the group chat is I think it could turn into incredibly toxic. If you have kids, your kids are going to learn how to swear right away from, like, playing with people online.
Yeah, they're gonna meet some random person online that's gonna teach them.
Yeah, because
there
there could be somebody their own age who has, like, different, you know, values and rules than your family does, and that 5 or 6 year old could be swearing like a sailor. And, you know, I mean, I don't have kids, but I can see the problem with this right away, because everybody really thought that Xbox Live was such a great idea at the time, and it turned into a point where people who bought Xbox, for the most part, after the first year or two that Xbox Live was, like, a big popular thing, most of them wouldn't even play with, like, you know, friends with the voice chat on, because it was just so volatile.
Like, I hope if it's, like, something extreme, like, I'm talking extreme, that their system will get shut down before they keep broadcasting it to people.
Something's burning. No, that won't happen, because, like, it was Iwata and Miyamoto's going to be retiring soon. Like, so the people who cared about what's going on with their consumers, like, Nintendo's becoming very detached in a way. They don't really care about, they just want to move systems. The people who are on Nintendo's board of directors now, and the people who are doing a lot of stuff, like, at Nintendo, are not the same people that worked on Wii, Wii U, Nintendo Switch, DS, 3DS. It's an all-new generation of people, and they have a different way of marketing, as well as another viewpoint of how to make money and how to make money efficiently. So these guys are basically going to port to death. You watch. Every popular first-party Nintendo Switch game that released over the course of Nintendo Switch's life cycle, I guarantee you, some of the big major ones like Mario Odyssey, and they've already done Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but I think Hyrule Warriors 1 and 2 will get, like, some type of, like, HDR collection eventually. Like, they're going to take all the really popular games that they've already released on the Switch, and they're probably going to make, like, you know, Switch 2 variants of them. Because the people who work at Nintendo right now are ones that are very impressed with Sony's business model of remasters of everything. And 2, they find it, you know, easier to just re-release something that was popular rather than make something that's new. The reason why we have so few first-party releases so far for the Switch 2, and they're actually saying, I caught, not the Nintendo Direct, but there was something on Twitter where a Nintendo employee was saying that the Switch 2 will have 8 first-party games at launch, but what they're not saying, or not launch, launch window, 8 first-party games launch window. What they're not telling the public is those 8 games are not all brand new first-party Switch games like we got with ARMS and Mario Sports and all that other stuff, like with the Switch. These are games that you've already played on Switch 1. It's just enhanced versions of it, but they're calling it a first-party game. Whereas, in reality, you only have 4 brand new first-party games that are coming out.
15 all.
Because Mario Jamboree is not a new game. It's a game that came out prior on Nintendo Switch. Same thing with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, you know, that kind of stuff. So they're going to be doing that a lot with the Switch 2. It's going to be very common to see games that you've already bought and played, and they're just going to give you, like, lazy, like, remastered editions. Or rather, upscale to, you know, 120 frames per second and 4K and all that other stuff. That's the kind of people that Nintendo are now. Now, I still think Nintendo's better than Sony and Xbox and stuff, but their board of directors is not the same people that, you know, cared about quality and making themselves look different, any of that. They're just here to make as much profit as possible. And that's what they're gonna that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna milk the Switch. All the popular Switch titles, mark my words, they will come to Switch 2. Bet. And the problem is you're going to get fewer innovative games. Because the previous gen of people who worked at Nintendo from all the way from the 80s through, like, the, you know, the birth of the Switch. And most of those guys are retired now, by the way. People in their 70s and 80s who were in their 30s and 40s in the 80s all have but retired or passed away at Nintendo. So the big innovators. Some of the young blood, like, believe it or not, Iwata was actually a very young man, and so was Masahiro Sakurai when they created Kirby originally at HAL Labs. Like, they were young guys. And then when they were in their 30s or 40s and they took over, like, positions of power at Nintendo when the GameCube was around, they were still pretty young. Iwata actually died very young. He had a stomach illness. Probably from stress, but, you know, we don't know. But he would still be around today for the Switch 2, and I guarantee you that he wouldn't have done what they're doing with Switch 2. The system probably would have been $399, so it'd be like $400. And game costs would probably be like $60. He would go around what the market price is for most games. So he would follow basically what Xbox and PlayStation are doing. He wouldn't charge like $10 more than what the competitors are charging, because Iwata was smart. Same thing with Reggie. The new people at Nintendo are going to do whatever they want because they think they can get away with it. They think because it's the Nintendo name, you'll pay an extra $10 per game. That's the difference. And it's not me being mean, that's just the reality. You have a different mindset. Excuse me. Yeah, Mr. Iwata died of a stomach illness, and people blamed him for the Wii U's failure. Yeah, I know. He died from stress, likely, yeah. Yep, and Reggie stepped down right after the Switch came out. Reggie was there for like the first year the Switch came out. And then he was gone. Then Doug Bowser replaced him. Probably because Reggie also was... Reggie did a lot for the Wii U. People forget that. Like most of the big third-party support, like Warner Brothers and all this other stuff, that was all Reggie. Reggie wanted to be able to play like Batman Arkham on a Nintendo system. He wanted a bunch of other stuff. He was also the one who was spearheading Arkham on the Wii. Like, there was a studio that was making a Batman Arkham game exclusively for the Wii, and that was Reggie's doing. Reggie went and he talked to Warner Brothers about getting... because he saw how popular Arkham Asylum was on, you know, the other systems. So his plan was to get a... because he didn't know if a Batman Arkham City game was in the works. So when Arkham City came out, Reggie campaigned hard with Warner Brothers to make a Wii U version of it, and, you know, got that off the ground within 6 months or something like that. The development time, the port from Arkham City Armored Edition wasn't even a full year. You know, but Reggie really campaigned hard to get as much core gamer games on Wii U as possible. So when Wii U failed, both Reggie and Iwata, and even Miyamoto, took that really hard, because for them, compared to what the Wii was, they actually made a system that was for core gamers. The problem is, the Wii U was such a terrible brand name that no one bought it. Like, it actually had the games, it had the third-party support, it had the technology. It had everything that made it a good competitor against the PS3 and the Xbox 360 at the time. But the problem was, it just didn't have the brand recognition. Like, people just weren't buying it, and so the system was a huge commercial failure. And Nintendo spent a lot of money getting those developers to make amazing games for it. And if you go back and you play the Wii U, there were a lot of great games on the Wii U. There was a tremendous amount. For years. Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game, yes. But it was a very innovative system in terms of games, but because they couldn't move systems, how are they going to sell games? So Nintendo literally took a bath, like, and, you know, developers trusted them for the most part when Switch came out, but it was a tough thing. When Switch first came out, because of Wii U was such a failure, how many launch titles do you guys think was on the Switch? Like, what is your estimate? Like, how many launch titles do you think actually released on Nintendo Switch? Day one. What's your estimate? If you had to go back to Nintendo Switch, the Wii U, as I said, released with 32 launch games. How many games was Nintendo confident enough to have released with the Switch on day one? Do you remember? The answer is 10. There were 10 games. 2 games were by were Yacht Club Games, and they were 2 variants of Shovel Knight. You had 2 first-party games by Nintendo, which was Breath of the Wild and 1, 2, 3 Switch, I believe. And then you had some other games, some indie games, and some other things. So there was a bunch of developers that were very skittish because of how bad Wii U did, that they did not throw their full support into the Switch. It wasn't until Breath of the Wild started selling like hotcakes that we got strong third-party support in 2018. Because people were very skeptical over the Switch. Whereas so many developers were on board with the Wii U, because they were like, finally, we have good hardware, we have no more small discs, we have no more limited graphics, you know. Everything looked great, and, you know, they had all this hype. Go back and watch the E3s for the Wii U. Like, the amount of, like, applause and the hype that gamers had for the system for years was insane, because Nintendo gave gamers exactly what they wanted, and, you know, outside of the core gamers, nobody else bought the system. So that was a bloodbath for Nintendo. So when the Switch came out, very few people were confident enough in the Switch's hardware that it was going to do well, so they had very limited launch games. They had just a little bit more launch games than Nintendo 64 had when it released in 1996. Heck, even the GameCube had more launch titles when it first came out.
15
And
love.
launch window games than the Switch did. And the GameCube also was a failure, but it also gave consumers exactly what they wanted, which was a powerful gaming system that was Nintendo, and it was a disc-based system. And I still, like, say the GameCube was a great system. It's just, like, what killed the GameCube was PS2 was just too much of a beast.
30 love.
You couldn't compete with PS2 being, like, a game console that could play DVDs, as well as it was very easy for game developers to make games for. GameCube was so difficult for people to make products for because of the small disc. So Nintendo did do a disc-based system, but they also used Sony's original idea of multi-discs that the original PlayStation had. And that put a bind on game developers. And eventually it led to the system's collapse because, you know, it made the developers so... It made things so challenging for them. And if you go back and you listen to documentaries about the GameCube and stuff like that, the developers loved the hardware for the GameCube, and the system was more powerful than the PS2 because its focus was on its game engine. But what made things such a challenge and a strain on game developers was trying to fit everything on that small disc. And eventually, they gave up and they made multi-discs. It was not uncommon for GameCube to have 2 to 3 discs for one game, just to get the space on there. But also, the GameCube discs, unlike PS2, which had like a scratch coating, the GameCube discs would get ruined a lot easier
Love 30.
than PS2 games. It was the same problem that the original PlayStation had. They were using the same disc coating that PlayStation had. So GameCube games, if, like, let's say you're trying to play Tales of Symphonia, and you pop in the next disc, but the next disc is all messed up, well, you're out of luck because you can't play that game anymore. You won't be able to continue your progress because the disc is all ruined, and
Game,
Nintendo
set,
didn't
match.
sell games separately, so if you had a disc that got ruined that was part of a set, you would have to buy that game all over again or try to buy it used and hope that the copy wasn't, you know, scratched to crap. That was a huge problem. And of course, Nintendo learned its lessons with the Wii U and stuff like that, or the Wii. But, you know, Nintendo's always been a system that, as far back as I can remember, except for the Super Nintendo, it was a gimmick-based marketing. It always has been. And essentially, the Switch 2 is just a Super Switch, which is fine. Like, I don't have any problem with the the cost of the system. The cost of the games is surprising. I think that Nintendo should throw the consumers a bone, and they should price their games according to what Sony and Microsoft are. And, you know, that's where I would be. And Switch games prices should go down to $49 and $59 respectively, because that's usually what happens when a new system comes out. Because what's the point of having an older system still selling games for $40, $50 when the new system is selling $40 to $50, or the new system is selling, you know, the same price or higher? Nintendo never used to do that. Case in point, when the GameCube came out, did you know that Nintendo actually lowered the cost of cartridges? So when the GameCube first released, Nintendo was already, by the year 1999 and 2000, Nintendo was rolling out their Player Select series, where they were taking select games that were first party, like Mario 64, Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and all this other stuff, and they were lowering the price from $59.99 to $39.86. It was known as the Player's Choice. So they did that. So when the GameCube came out, you had games that were
Love 50.
$59, $49.99. What is that smoke? There's that much smoke from the pizza? Man, that oven sucks so much. If I was the landlord, I'd worry about a fire and just replace the oven, but they refuse to do that.
15 all.
Well, I mean, it would cause... Kitchen fires are devastating. They can burn a whole house down. That, to me, that stove is a fire hazard. Maybe that's why they wanted us to get more insurance in case our house burns down.
50.
Maybe.
Great.
Amber didn't do anything. The stove is terrible. The appliance is 12 years old. When we moved here, they said the stove was old. They assured us that it worked fine. Every time we use it, it causes our house to smoke up. None of our appliances work except for our fridge. Except our fridge is technically broken too. Well, every time we have the maintenance guy come in and look at the stove, he says, well, we don't really need to replace it. Here, let's just try this. Like, they keep trying to find ways of skirting around it, but every time we cook food in the oven, there's like this thick charcoal leftover residue that we can't scrape off because of all the previous residents that lived here, that every time you use the stove, it's like the stove just smells so smoky and gross. Yeah, the coating of the stove is bad because it's so old. They're supposed to, like, I was reading that you're actually supposed to replace your appliances after 10 years. Like, if you're a person who's, like, you know, a landlord. Because of, you know, fires, electrical problems. Older appliances that don't work very well use more electricity, too. Mm-hmm.
Love 15.
Great.
So, I mean, literally, like, our landlord, the people who tried to evict us because of the cats, like, 2 years ago, they haven't done anything to improve the quality of life in our apartment. And they're just terrible. Our washing machine has been broken for 2 years. Or longer.
Love 30.
When the septic tank broke, and they were, quote, fixing it, they broke our washing machine and our dryer. And even when they were trying to evict us, they didn't even look at the appliances.
Love 40.
So if they actually looked at the appliances, they would see that the stove is smoky. The microwave is on its way breaking down. They did replace the microwave when the microwave caught fire a couple of years ago. But Amber thinks that they just replaced the microwave with an older unit that was not on its way out. But yeah, that's why I'm coughing. No, it's okay. Hey guys, people aren't really watching the shorts, and we don't really have enough people in here to... This stream is only 600 views. So this is gonna be a very long stream. So we need the views to stay consistent on the channel. So please make sure you watch the YouTube shorts. Have the playlist run in the background. Because we can't... We're only at 1,200 an hour for the channel. And, like, yesterday at this time playing Mario Tennis, to give you a comparison, we were at 1,600 from 4 to 5 o'clock. From 4 to 5 o'clock today, we're only at 1,200. So that means people are not watching the shorts. So, if you can't super chat and you can't be a member, make sure you guys watch the shorts in the background, please. Just ignore negative comments. I'm not being negative about the Switch 2. I'm just explaining to people what it is. But I found it funny that people are complaining about games being so expensive because they were more expensive when I was a kid. The difference is we had a way in our culture, my generation, to combat high game prices that you guys don't have. We had Blockbuster. It's true. Yeah, open the window over here, please.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So we had Blockbuster Video, and Blockbuster Video, you could rent 2 games for $4. So when, like, say, Mortal Kombat 2 came out and the market price was like $74, right? You could go to Blockbuster Video and pay like $4 and rent 2 games, 2 Super Nintendo, 2 Genesis for like $4.50, I think is what it was. And you would play those same games over the weekend, beat them, return them, and then there was no reason to own them because you already beat it. But that's how so many of us in the 90s played games, is we made it a Blockbuster night or Hollywood Video. That was the norm. And Blockbuster made a killing. Do I want some tea? It's not. It won't open up my throat, honey. It has to do with the smoke. It's nothing that you're doing wrong. The problem is, streaming sites put Blockbuster Video out of business, and Hollywood Video and stuff like that. So, if there was a smart company, they would find a way of licensing out some of these games and doing a streaming service where you pay to use a limited time license of a game for like 3 days or something like that, 72 hours. You pay like, I don't know, you'd have to raise the price of the rental, probably charge like $9 or something like that to play a brand new game for like 3 days or something like that. And the license expires when you're done or something. I don't know how they would do that. But that'd be the only way you could really make a huge profit as a rental company. Because, like, GameFly is not very lucrative nowadays. GameFly kind of worked in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, but when that was before digital games came out and it was really hard to get physical copies. That's why GameFly excelled for a long time. But what's going to put a stranglehold on a lot of people with Nintendo Switch 2 and PlayStation 5 and Xbox games is, like, Xbox already has a thing in place, Game Pass, where people still have the ability to play some brand new games without paying the full market price. And even Sony kind of has something like that with its PlayStation service. The problem is, I would argue that the PlayStation service isn't as good as the Xbox Game Pass. But what's going to blow everybody out of the water if they're not careful is Steam. Steam has the most consumer-friendly prices in the market because PC basically lowers the prices of games exponentially all the time. There's more deals on Steam than there is on Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox combined every month. Sometimes you can even get a brand new game on Steam for half the cost of a console game. And that's a game that's only like 4 weeks old or something like that. So, I mean, Steam is... Even people on Twitter were talking about how Steam is like the most consumer-friendly thing. But at the same time, in order to play some of these Steam games, like you have to have a high-end PC or you have to have a Steam Deck. A Steam Deck, even the lowest Steam Deck you can get, the original Steam Deck that's not an LED, will cost you $500. So I have the original Steam Deck that I got last year because of a subscriber. It was $510. A Switch OLED, or not Switch OLED, a Steam Deck OLED is $600 to $700. And then they have another Steam Deck that's even more. A high-end PC will cost you about $850 to $1,000. So to have Steam games, you know, priced low, it makes sense. But at the same time, PC is not a very easy thing to do. It's not... Usually console systems are cheaper in comparison. But right now, the consoles, the price of the Switch 2 is fine, but people are basically rioting over the cost of games. So, if we had Reggie or Iwata still, I guarantee you the price of the games would be $69.99. It would be right around the same cost of PS5 games. Because that's what the market price is right now for games. It's around $69.99 for a new release, or $59.99. Made a lot of tea. That's great, honey.
Sorry that you're coughing so much.
Yeah, people aren't watching the shorts, guys. If you don't watch the shorts, the stream's gonna have to go on break because we can't afford the hit. We can't afford it. There's no super chats and memberships to stream, and like I said, our hourly is usually like 15 or 1600 views an hour, with people watching the shorts.
No one was watching them this morning, and the
Right,
stream
we're about 1200 and flipping.
Supposed to be 15.
It's supposed to be around 15.
And this morning it was below 1,000.
Yeah, so I mean, we need you guys to watch the shorts. It's free, it's cheap, you can have it run in the background. If it drops any lower than this, the stream's going to have to go on hiatus until the views go up, because we can't... I can't be...
Oh wow, they've taken so many views. We were at 140 likes.
Right, they took away likes too, I saw that. Yeah, they took away our likes as well, which messed up everything. So the likes stopped, everything, yeah. Yep. Yeah, they did, because we were at 140. So they're purging likes. They're basically making it impossible for us to stream. Like, we can't take the hit. So if it drops to 1100, guys, just giving you fair warning, the stream is going to go on break. Amber and I are going to do our best to try to go advertise our shorts playlist and other things. But you guys can prevent the stream from shutting down by watching the shorts. It's that easy. Either you choose to do it or you don't, but I will be pulling the stream if you don't. So... because I can't afford the hit.
Love 50.
We can't afford it.
Do you feel like the reason why they're doing a lot of remasters and reports is because people are asking for those? Nintendo Lucas?
Nobody's asking for those.
I mean, people did ask for Wind Waker remake.
People have been asking for Nintendo Switch to re-release the HD versions of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker because that's what fans have wanted. And they've been asking for 3 years now. And Nintendo always finds a way of saying no. And the fact that they're re-releasing Wind Waker, the original, and an upscaled 1080p thing.
I even said that. I said,
pretty messed up.
I said, well, we're not getting the remake, but they're just... here's the game ported that people asked for a remake of.
So basically, Nintendo's giving you the Dolphin emulator.
But I will say, I have to say, like, I kind of do agree with... I agree with both of you, Luke, and also Nintendo Lucas. Like, I think some people are asking for, like, oh, I hope I can play this on Switch or Switch 2. But at the same time, I think people really did want to see new games. That wasn't me. I think, like, I feel like the only, like, I don't know, like, I thought they were making a new, are they making a new F-Zero game or not?
No.
30.
Oh, so it's just the GameCube one that's on there.
F-Zero GX was the last F-Zero game ever made for a console.
I think people would have liked to see new Kid Icarus, new GameCube, new GameCube, new F-Zero.
I forgot how much Masahiro Sakurai actually liked Kirby's Air Ride. I totally forgot about that. Like, he was always so, like, upset by how the public viewed Kirby's Air Ride on GameCube because he loved GameCube, right? He thought Kirby's Air Ride on GameCube was amazing. I never liked it. A lot of gamers didn't. So the fact that he basically trolled everybody by making Kirby's Air Ride 2 when no one really liked that game.
He's like, well, I liked it.
Right, so that means, what I'm seeing this as, we already know he's never going to make another Smash Brothers game. I could really see him doing another Kid Icarus game. Because
yeah, he's gonna do games
right, what Masahiro Sakurai does is he likes to release games that he likes. And he makes them very innovative and fun. So I think the new Kirby's Air Ride is actually going to be really good. But at the same time, you have 3 Mario Kart clones coming out this year. You have Mario Kart World, obviously. Oops. And then you have Mario, or you have the Sonic racing game is coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy lost. I gotta do it again. Would you like... You've lost this arcade match. Do you want to... Yeah, I wish I'd try again. So you have that.
And we... Oh, I'll wait till you're done with your phone.
So you had the Sega racing game, you have the Mario Kart racing game, and then you had another racing game, the Kirby's Air Ride. So you have 3 Mario Kart clones. Or 2 Mario Kart clones in the same year.
Honestly, Mario Kart is, like, pretty interesting to me. Like,
Oh, I think
I did not see that coming, like, all the stuff they have.
Oh, the Mario Kart thing? The Mario Kart thing is going to be one of the... Like, I could honestly see Mario Kart World winning Game of the Year.
Yeah,
Mario Kart World is one of the most innovative new games of 2025.
They're using gameplay mechanics from all kinds of games.
Yep, they've combined elements of Forza, The Crew, Mario Kart all into one game.
You can even wheelie on one wheel, on a rail, like Sonic. People were comparing it to Sonic's like rails.
Yep, you can do Sonic rails, you can do all kinds of stuff in the game. That's why I'm saying it's a high probability that if the Switch 2 does really well, that Nintendo's Mario Kart World could end up being a contender for Game of the Year. Just like Breath of the Wild was in 2017 and, you know, things like that.
I really liked... I got to see more of Metroid today, and it looked like Halo to me, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, the new Metroid's going to be great.
And I was like, it looks like Halo in a good way to me.
Technically, you can't really call the new Metroid game a port, though, because, I mean, it hasn't released yet. So
Yeah, it's not a port.
it's going to release the same time as Switch, and...
It'll be like a double release.
Yeah, they're going to do exactly what they did with Breath of the Wild, Twilight Princess. Because both Twilight Princess and Twilight Princess released on GameCube and Wii at the same time. Not Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild released on Wii U and Switch at the same time. And the new Metroid game is releasing on Switch and Switch 2 at the same time.
Aren't you worried?
Yeah.
Oops.
Alright, thank you, Miss Deanna, for the super chat, Mr. Luke. I am just going to tell people the same thing. When the Switch was announced, you don't have to get it. No one is forcing you to get it.
Exactly.
Too easy.
That's what I don't understand.
Oh, we're upgrading 100%.
Great.
Like, we are doing it.
No, I just don't understand people screaming, like, lower the price, acting crazy. Like,
Great.
they can actually put whatever price they want on it. You don't have to get it.
Right.
Technically, they can make it any price they want to.
Yeah, but, again, people have to understand that the reason why, and I'm not really a Switch 2 apologist, I'm just telling people how it is. The reason why Nintendo has raised the price of the games is you do not have CEOs in office anymore at those companies that care about the consumer anymore. When I was a kid, Nintendo did not care about the consumer. Like, $210 for a system was very expensive back then. Like I said, that would be basically the cost of $400 today.
So, what was $210 back then?
The Super Nintendo.
Oh, so it's
with
like
one,
the Super Nintendo again then.
With one controller, and if you got the game with the system, it was almost $300. The system by itself was $210.
I remember that because my family had an NES and we couldn't afford it. Nintendo. It was too much for years, but then later on, eventually,
Super Nintendo dropped in price by 1994. It became $100.
That's probably when my family ended up getting it, or maybe they ended up getting our used version.
1994 is when Super Nintendo dropped in price. It was the year of Donkey Kong. I believe it was the year of Donkey Kong Country. Because 1995 was Donkey Kong Country 2, I think. I don't remember, though.
I gonna use the carpet refresher thing here when I vacuum.
You did use the carpet refresher in here? That's also probably the reason my throat's
Aren't you
irritated.
worried?
It's okay. Thank you for cleaning the house.
Well, you can probably tell it smells nice.
Yeah, I can tell, but I also, like, I can feel the chemical irritation. I thought it was all from smoke. So some of it's the carpet cleaner. Okay.
Great.
I felt like it was my lungs. It was easier to breathe because I'm not feeling as much. Like my eyes usually are watering every day because of Link, so I don't feel a lot of like watery eyes. No, it's fine. All right, there you go. See, guys, that's really easy. See, you guys, let me give you a progress report, okay? Let me just tell you the power of the audience, so people, because I know some people say, oh, you know, you complain and stuff a lot more, but you guys we almost went on hiatus with the stream, with the Be Right Back, because the stream was almost at 1,100, or not the stream, sorry. The channel was almost at 1,100 views. The people who are watching the shorts right now, this is the power of the audience. This is what YouTube does not like, but we rely on. The channel went up to 1,400 views from you guys. The stream has done nothing. The stream is still at 600, going into the 2-hour mark. We're still at 600 views. Miss Deanna is the only revenue we've received so far. 600 views, because the YouTuber's not paid unless you get 1,000, okay? So the channel was 1,100. You guys, just by clicking the shorts, brought the channel up to 1,400 hourly. That's from you guys, on the stream. Nowhere else on the channel.
And Christiana was telling me on the when we were watching the treehouse that she was excited about Kirby.
She decided about the Kirby's Air Ride?
Upgrading for Kirby Forgotten Land on the Switch 2.
Right, the new Kirby DLC, which is...
I didn't get to see that.
Nintendo fans should be upset, though, because what you forget is Nintendo, when Kirby's Forgotten Land came out during the pandemic, right? People said, oh, actually, it might have been 2019. Was it 2020 or 2019? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
We've covered so many Switch games, I can't recall. But after everybody finished the Forgotten Land, people were so excited because of how hyped they were for the game that they were like, oh my gosh, Nintendo's totally going to do DLC, because that's what they did with Mario Kart. And then Nintendo announced, we're not doing DLC for this. And the entire time, they've been working on a DLC expansion only for Switch 2.
Oh.
That should make people very upset.
Too easy.
Well, it's a reason to get it on Switch 2.
Yeah, it's a reason to get it on Switch 2, but at the same time, that's super shady. Like that's like Xbox, Sony type of...
Whiplash.
Yes, that's very Snidely Whiplash. Yes, it is. Because they told us to our face, we aren't planning on doing DLC for this ever. This is the whole game. There's nothing else. And lo and behold, it's like, hey, here's our new system. Remember that game you paid full price for? Well, now there's DLC, but you have to buy the whole new system to play it. Like, that is very Snidely Whiplash.
Gee, Bullwinkle, I thought we were going to get DLC.
But you have to understand that, like, even though Amber and I personally are getting a Switch 2, right? We're getting one.
We got another super chat.
I know, I'll read it in a sec. Even though we're doing that, and we're being a little critical of some of their business practices, we like Nintendo. Like, I grew up with Nintendo. Amber was more of a Sega person, but the first console that we got as a married couple was the Wii. We bought that together. We went and we pre-ordered it together. That was our first console as a married couple. That was the one we decided on keeping because, you know, we didn't know what the future was going to hold. I didn't know I was going to become a YouTuber. I was a writer that was barely making anything, and my wife was, you know, I was a kept man, basically, because my jobs paid crap. Amber's jobs paid everything. Rent, my medical bills, everything. Like, I was a loser with no future, basically. Every job that Amber did, she always made more money than me. And it was, you know, it was hard to be, like, the man of the house when, basically, you know, Amber made way more. So, when the YouTube thing came in, like, I had no idea what was going on because it's like I wasn't expecting that. You know, I had thought I'd be one of those married couples where, like, you know, I didn't really contribute anything except for grocery money or something, or maybe the phone bill. So we were only going to be a Nintendo family going forward, because I wasn't going to give up gaming just because I got married. Like, I was just going to limit the amount of gaming that I did. Like, I wouldn't be a multi-console person anymore.
And Miss Dana's super chat said, games like Cyberpunk 2077 are getting physical release dates on Nintendo Switch, which means that physical gaming isn't dead, or at least not yet.
Yeah, physical gaming is not dead yet.
Miss Diana says, it took Mr. Miyamoto over 20 years to admit that Super Mario Bros. 3 was based on a play. We all know this, but people at Nintendo like to play dumb, says Miss Tiana. Expansion pack has it covered. They said the upgrade packs for Switch 2 will be on it. Will be free, said the people in Treehouse. Yeah, if you have the Nintendo Switch expansion pack, you should get some of the upgrades free.
Yeah, that's a smart thing, because it gives people incentive to get their expansion, like the Switch Online thing. Because you need to buy the Switch Online thing to play it online anyway.
Thank you so much, Miss Deanna. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for your generosity and for your fun gaming facts. And I mean, yeah, that was a good point on Nintendo, Lucas, and also, I thought Miss Tiana was making an interesting point about how, like, people were saying they don't want to get, like, when we were looking at the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom ports, or
they're ports.
Basically ports, but high definition ports.
No, and don't say high definition, say HDR.
People were basically saying they didn't see a reason for getting them because it already looked pretty good on the Switch.
Right.
So why would you even need to, since it already looked really good on the Switch? And I was thinking the same thing because I kind of liked how it looked on the Switch. But anyways, Christina was saying something about Kirby that because if you did get it with the expansion with the $10 or $15 if you already had it or something, it would be like the price of DLC. So then you're actually getting something for that price if you get the Kirby.
Great.
That's actually a really good point. That's the only port that you're actually getting something out of.
Yeah, but just so you know, the Wii U and Switch both. The Switch, the Switch was an HD system.
Aren't I just incredible?
Like, they shouldn't be saying HD ports because the Switch is high definition. The Wii U was high definition. The Wii was not an HD system. The Wii was 480i.
No.
Right? We have upscaled this. Like, we're playing a GameCube game. This is not GameCube's original ratio. Like, we're almost playing at 16:9, a game that originally was a ratio of 4:3. So the Wii could not do 720p. The Wii U was 720p HD. It was not 1080. The Switch was 1080p. The Switch 2 is 4K.
Yeah, they kept talking about that on the Treehouse.
Right.
Thing.
So when people are saying things like, "Oh, Switch 2 is HD," it's like, yes, but it also is 4K, and then it's the next resolution, which is HDR. I have no idea what HDR is, but I know for a fact that the TV we have isn't even 4K. This, like, 50-inch LCD TV that we have in our living room is 1080p. Like, high-res 1080p, but it cannot go 4K.
I don't know, I was just thinking, like, they're streaming it in 4K, but people are streaming it off of YouTube, and YouTube isn't 4K, I don't think.
I'm just hoping that we don't have to get a 4K TV to play the Switch 2, because we don't have a 4K TV in this house.
I mean, how much better could it be? But a lot of streamers probably have a 4K TV, but they lower their resolution so they can do their face cam to 720 anyway.
I don't know.
So why would it even matter? We already have some of the highest resolution on most streamers. Because we don't do face cam.
True.
And what I don't understand is you get a hugely expensive TV and then your streaming software can only stream at so high anyway, because when you do live streams, it's a lower quality than videos. So the only way you could actually show off 4K is if you did high quality videos. And usually when you render a video, it says 1080p. So also, how are you supposed to render a video at higher than 1080p?
You know that 4K is actually an older resolution now, right? 4K was a big deal 10, 11 years ago. So HDR is the new thing.
Oh.
A brand new 4K television from Samsung, 55 inches, is $347. So that if you're going with a new HDR TV from Samsung, that's 55 inches, $1,796 for a HDR television.
So that's
4K
the difference
plus whatever.
Between $400 and $1,800.
Yeah, that's the difference. HDR television is $1,700. A 4K television, which probably people might have to upgrade, in order to play the Switch 2. We don't know how the whole HDMI thing's going to work. I don't know. That's a question that I've actually asked Nintendo support in an email, like, hey, I don't have a 4K TV. Am I still going to be we don't even have a 4K capture card. We have that's a 1080p HD capture card.
Let me ask you a question. Can you look up a PS3 or a Nintendo Switch to a tube TV?
No.
So you cannot hook it up to an older TV with a
Wait. A Wii? A Wii had components. So yes, you could still, on an old like tube television, you could hook up a Wii to a tube.
I don't think it should be a problem. I think you can hook up, like, it'll just downgrade the resolution on your TV. Yeah,
our resolution will look downgraded when we stream too, I think, because you have to, just like when you do like a higher resolution, you have to choose what the resolution is when you set up your game system. That's what you had to do with PS3. That's what you had to do with PS4, that kind of stuff. But if people have to upgrade to a 4K television, you can get a 4K TV nowadays. For a high-end product like Samsung or Sony, you're going to pay $300. For a cheap like 4K TV at Walmart, you'll pay $150. But if you're going with HDR, HDR is very expensive new technology. It's the next version of high def or something like that. And my wife and I still don't have a 4K TV. I don't even think any of our monitors in this house are 4K either. I don't believe so.
30 love.
I do not think so.
Yay!
Amy's excited by that. Yay! Yoink. Hooray!
40 love.
Great!
But, you know, I think a lot of aspects, like, I still think the Nintendo Direct was good, but there were parts of the Nintendo Direct I didn't like. I didn't like the video chat. I was kind of sad that they completely got rid of the Miis. Like, the Miis are gone now, if you guys didn't notice. The Miis don't show up at all in Mario Kart. The Mii avatars were adorable and fun, and they've been around since the Wii, right? So the Mii avatars are almost 20 years old. Like, by next year, Miis would have been 20 years old. So the fact that they're discontinuing the Miis it's sad. It is, because I think that being able to make your own personal character in like a funny, kooky kind of way was a nice little charm of Nintendo.
Great!
And so when they, you know, they got rid of that, it's like, oh man, that's kind of sad. You know? It's like, oh, Miis are gone.
Game, set, and match. Amy.
And the Miis, they didn't have a big starring role on the Switch, but they were your avatars, right? They could be. They appeared in some games. They didn't have a huge role like they did on Wii and Wii U or DS and 3DS. But they were there, you know, throughout the journey of the Switch. The fact that they're gone, I believe they're gone permanently. I haven't seen anybody make any Mii avatars for Switch stuff. Like, a fun alternative would be instead, hey, instead of you putting your face on here, here's your Mii doing all this stuff. Here's your Mii acting out while your face cam is on, like a, what do they call that? A filter. It would have been interesting if they gave you a Mii filter for your characters if you don't feel like actually, you know, you want to use the camera, but you don't want to show your face because maybe you're, you know, you don't have confidence in how you look or something. I don't know. It's just, it's a shame to see that. Oh wow, we beat the whole game. We'll just call this Rose. So the special match is actually, as long as you don't fight Eggman, you can win. That's kind of fun. I guess. Rose. Wow, I did better with Gimli. Oh well. I mean Gilius, not Gimli. Sorry, I did better with Gilius. Kind of like a VTuber thing. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the shorts. That means a lot to us. It keeps our channel stable. It brings in people. Because our stream is, you know, it's not even going to get close to 1,000 views. Like last night, guys, I had to stream Xenoblade for 4 hours and 40 minutes. And I still didn't get 1,000 views. 4 hours and 40 minutes. I literally cut 2.5 hours out of last night's stream. Because I had to go on break 3 times. 3! That's insane! If I would have ended last night's Xenoblade stream after 2 hours, I would have only had 400 views. And I had 90 people watching. That is absolutely insane. But I hope you guys will enjoy the Mario Kart series tomorrow. I might even start the Mario Kart series tonight with Super Mario Kart, because I don't think a lot of people are going to tune in for Super Mario Kart tomorrow at 3. So I think I'm going to kick off, because I want to do something fun tonight. So I think I'm going to kick off the Mario Kart Marathon with Super Mario Kart tonight after Xenoblade. Because I'm probably not going to get that many people to watch if I did, because that game's like 30 plus years old. More people will tune in for Mario Kart 64. Because Mario Kart 64 is going to kick off the 3D aspect of the marathon. YouTube cut Luke and Amber a break? I would love that. I would love a break. I seriously would, because we used to stream 4 times an afternoon. Right? Like, from 3 o'clock until midnight, there'd be 4 streams. Now there's only barely 3 streams, and of those 3 streams, most of them are over 3 hours. You just don't see it as 3 hours because I cut stuff out. I cut out the intro. The intro can be anywhere between 35 to 45 minutes. I don't like playing the intro. I have no choice. Amber did a 3-hour stream this morning. But Amber's stream got over 1,000. This stream's not going to. I know, but you should have got more views for the treehouse thing. Did you make ramen? What did you make? You did make ramen? Oh, there's pizza? Okay. Okay, well, I mean, you can, after your ramen, just check. You're good at discern. You're a cook. You can discern when stuff is good. I feel like killing the monkey. How is it too early to marathon all the Mario Kart games? It's not too early. It'll take a long time. April, May, June. Also, you're forgetting, I'm starting the marathon, but in the middle of April, we have new games we'll finally be covering. There are new games coming out for PlayStation, Xbox, and there is one game on Switch. Well, I was always a constructive journalist. I would always do constructive criticism. I think that, you know, Nintendo could have handled the whole Switch 2 thing better, but I think that people are kind of blowing it out of proportions a little bit. Like, it's a bummer that we're going back to the 90s prices, so I wish that Nintendo would lower them back to what the market rate is. The game prices in console are lower in Japan, but Japanese gamers, their system is region locked. And the reason why they're region locking the Switch 2 in Japan is because, like, if people buy it in America, you'll only be able to play Japanese games. I don't know if the Switch 2 in America is region locked now or not. The great thing about Switch 1 is it wasn't region locked, so we covered games from Japan, we covered games from Australia, the UK, America. I haven't found any information yet whether or not the Switch 2 is actually region locked. If it is, that's going to hurt us a lot because we used to cover games from overseas. We used to cover games from Japan. And I can't afford to buy a Japanese Switch 2. Yeah. So they have right away. They told us when the Switch 1 was in development that it would not be region locked. Everybody's talking about game prices. They're not really talking about the most discussion points right now. Is the Switch is 120 frames per second, 4K resolution, up to HDR, or rather, they said it can go HDR. Right, they're doing what PS5 does, performance and, yeah, performance and whatever, resolution, whatever it's called. Yeah, they're doing the PS5 thing. Which is funny because people said that the Switch 2 isn't going to be like the PS5. It's very similar to the PS5. I don't know, like, I mean, we won't be able to show the 4K resolution because, no, like, as long as we can still hook it up to HDMI, I don't care. Like, as long as, like, playing on HDMI is not going to ruin our television, but I'm happy to know that if we have to upgrade a 4K TV, it's only $300. Before, they were thousands of dollars. So I'm glad that, you know, the whole new HDR TVs is, like, lowering the price of 4K, because 4K is becoming basically what HD was in 2006. People were wrong. People are wrong about it being like PS5. Yeah, well, I mean, they're judging a lot of the games that are coming off the bat, but I will say this, the Donkey Kong game that's coming out looks better than a lot of PS5 games. It looks like Astrobot, and it looks like a CGI, like, Pixar movie or something. It looks incredible. I'm just not a huge Donkey Kong fan. Cartoon monkeys. All monkeys all the time. And there we go. AiAI's on the thumbnail now. Destroy AiAI! Can I watch your ramen? Yes. Link, you're not gonna eat ramen. And defeat AiAI the monkey. Sets 1. 1 set match, 3 games. That's fine. Link took your seat, but not your ramen. Yay! Afterburner stage! Sweet! I will be fine doing 3 games here. That's good. Alright, we're gonna destroy AiAI. Whoopsies.
Love 50.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that I have, like... I have some people being a little nasty to me in my, my comments for the Nintendo Direct yesterday. But Abdallah has, like, way more intense takes than I do. The guy's going off on Twitter, like, and it's like, don't you work for Nintendo? Just like, dude, be careful. I got kicked out of the brand ambassador program for something way less than what you're doing. No, it was, I was very critical of F-Zero, or Star Fox Zero. Star Fox Zero is what got us kicked out of the program.
40-15.
Star Fox Zero is why we got fired. And the whole thing is, I was actually being on my best behavior so we could get the Switch, and then they didn't give it to us. And then they gave us all the really lame games that came with the Switch. We didn't even get snipper clips from Nintendo. We got like I Am Setsuna and 1-2 Switch and like all this stuff. Shovel Knight, and then they were like, well, that concludes our business. Thanks so much for being partnered with us. We won't be working with you again. It's like, what? And it's like, well, what's the reasons? And they're like, for violations of the terms of service. It's like, what violations? And then I find out later, it's like, because I was making fun of Star Fox Zero in my Let's Play, it's like, but nowhere in the contract that we signed it said we couldn't do that. It was a contract you updated that you never showed us. Yeah. But, I mean, I even texted Abdallah, I said, dude, you gotta be really careful what you're doing. It's like, because they are not the same company they were years ago. They're not going to appreciate you. Like, you also have people in your comments that are saying you're misinformed about stuff. Like, you're giving false information about things. And you got to be careful.
30-40.
He's just mad about everything. Like, he's going off. It's like, it's talking about the game prices and all this other stuff. Yep. Yeah, but the brand ambassador program doesn't even really exist anymore. Like, if Nintendo gives you a game, you get it, like, within 6 hours of release. There's no, like, when we were in the brand ambassador program, we got games 2 weeks in advance. Which made it super easy for us to make content on it. Like, we would literally have our entire Let's Play done by the time the game officially released. That was awesome. I loved that. But when we left the program in 2017, like a year later, they had people burn the program to the ground. So instead of getting games weeks in advance, they would only get the game 2 days in advance. And then somebody else had a mental breakdown, and by 2019, Nintendo was only giving out games to their ambassadors 6 hours before they came out. So most people went and got their games from Greenland because it was a day in advance. Take that, stupid monkey. Bam! But yeah, I mean, I was surprised. Like, some of the comments I was getting was pretty nasty on our Switch thing, or Switch 2 thing. And I was like, I have a very tame take. I actually have a take that most of Twitter agrees with, except people say I'm being too nice with it. Because people want me to be angrier. It's like, I was just disappointed. I wasn't like, oh, how dare Nintendo. It was just kind of like, I don't think this is a good idea.
40 love.
And you have to understand, too, like, when the Switch came out, the Switch and the Wii U's presentation on Nintendo Direct both were amazing because they had the games. They like, really, you know. Wait, I already destroyed AiAI? Ha! I destroyed AiAI in 3 minutes, sucker. Oh, that was so good. I enjoyed that. Death to AiAI. I think 3 games is actually not what I want to do. I think I want to do a set. I want to do some mini games. I like mini games a lot. Xenoblade is going to last a long time. Yep. Xenoblade will probably have 3 breaks. I had 3 breaks for Xenoblade last night, and I was like losing my mind. The only way I got the views up is there's a button on our channel that says 2 times the ads. So I hit that button and YouTube gave us like 15 more views every like 15 minutes. So I was sitting here eating I think I was eating my fish last night. Like, I had actual fish and chips. So I had fish and nacho chips. Actual chips. Fish and nacho chips. And I was sitting here, and I was like, having people watch the shorts, and because in my defense, there's no reason for me to stream a full 4 hours, because 1, I'm going to get exhausted, 2, no one's going to watch a 4-hour stream back, and if I can run the music for 40 minutes at the beginning and 40 minutes like during the break, I can cut those out and I can make a more streamlined experience. I'm the only streamer on YouTube that is actually making it so people can rewatch a stream without any of the filler stuff. Like, we're the only ones on YouTube that do that. No one else cuts out their stuff. Ever. So we always make it so that our streams are not only accessible for people, because we keep our archives, like 96, 95%. We do more for our viewers than any other streamer. And YouTube continues to kick us to the curb, like, every day. It's very upsetting. But I did find that method of, like, going on breaks actually does push the views, because there's no reason for me to sit here for 4 or 5 hours on one stream when I can go do the dishes, I could watch an anime, I can work on a video, I can make YouTube shorts. I made 2 YouTube shorts last night while the stream was running on this computer, and they didn't even hear it. Yeah, so I'm going to make more YouTube shorts tonight. I have a whole list of, like, Nintendo Switch 2 shorts that I'm going to be posting. I'm surprised that the Nintendo Switch one this morning did terrible. It only got 500 views. I was like, what? I did a great job editing that, too. I was like, what the heck? I know, it's so irritating. I like the Virtua Squad thing. That's a lot of fun. I'm going to do minigames. Maybe they'll put the Switch 2 prices out of nowhere. Well, who's that? That is, Nintendo Lucas? Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. Do you remember the PS3 at all? The PS3, before the system came out, PlayStation planned on releasing it at $699. The internet had a meltdown. When the system came out, their highest end version of it was $599, and their lowest end version of the PS3 was $499. So Sony did cave from their announcement, and they lowered the price. And the price of games was always going to be $49 or $50. So, but the problem with, I don't know if Nintendo will cave to fan pressure or not, because when Sony announced the price of their system, there was 6 months before release of the system. There's 2 months away before the Switch 2 comes out, and it's not, the console itself is not a problem. Like, I think that's actually a very fair price for what they're offering. The fact that the system can actually go up to HDR, which we've already proven, an HDR TV today for 55 inches, $1,700. Okay? That's brand new technology. Like, when the Switch came out, even though 4K was a thing, this is the difference, okay? Even when the Switch came out, I don't know if the Switch OLED can do 4K or not, but when the Switch released and 4K was actually in circulation, the Switch could not do 4K. So the fact that the brand new Switch 2 can do HDR, which is the newest type of resolution right now, surpasses 4K, I think, is a huge deal. You will need to remove the nunchuck in order to select this control method? What? Oh! It's just, never mind. It's just the Wiimote by itself. Blech. That's a big deal, and that's part of the reason why, I think because of the HDR, I think that's the reason why the Switch 2 is so expensive, is because it's actually utilizing a new type of, like, resolution that's on the market right now. And you can bet, because 4K was bigger in Japan when Switch came out and stuff like that, everybody in Japan had 4K, like, right away. Like, they get technology much faster than we do. So, the HDR thing is a big deal. Except I don't even have a 4K TV, so I'm 2 generations behind, and I don't care because our HD TV works fine. No, it's okay. If we have to upgrade, we'll upgrade, but I would not get a super 4K TV. I would get the 4K TV that came out like 10 years ago. Amber, I don't really care. I only replace things if I have to. Like, if something's broken, I replace it. I don't go, ooh, a 4K TV, I want that. It's like, I can't really see a difference between 1080 and 4K anyway. Really. My eyes aren't that good, so being legally blind, you don't really notice a lot of stuff. You're like, oh, okay, it has more pixels. It might help you read text a little bit better, but... that's the reason. The fact they included HDR into the thing... Because I've never even heard PS5 say, brand new HDR. They said 4K when the system came out. They're like, 4K resolution, 120 frames per second, blah, 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 all this other stuff. Which was not a selling point for me anyway. I was just kind of like, okay. I just want my games to look a little better, and I want more storage. Did I get more storage with the PS5? Not really. I would argue PS4 Pro has more storage. But that's the reason, is because of the resolutions. That's part of the reason why the system is so expensive. But I don't blame them for the system cost. I think that they're so out of touch with game costs, though, that it's insane. But I don't think it's going to change. Maybe by holiday, they'll do something to lower the game prices, but they're going to see how much it impacts them. Because what Nintendo's banking on is all the people complaining are still going to buy the system. They're still going to buy the games. So it's just noise to them. It doesn't matter. Like, if it actually impacts their sales, yeah, they'll lower the price of games. Probably. But you have to remember, too, with Nintendo Switch, there's been hardly any games, especially first party, that have ever dropped in price. They're still selling Breath of the Wild for $59.99, just like when it came out in 2017. Breath of the Wild has never dropped its market price. Ever. It's still that good, though, yeah, that's true. So now for the new Switch 2 version, you have to pay $69.99. But you get all the DLC, which the DLC itself was a huge cost overall. So, you know, there's that. For what? I'm not upset about anything. I'm just upset about YouTube stuff. Like, I've been streaming now for 3 hours, I think, this game. Yeah, we're getting close to the 3-hour mark, and I think we're still at 700 views. I believe so. All I care about is the hourly views are going up because people are watching the shorts, which... We're the only content creators smart enough to know how to combat YouTube. Everyone else is just like... I was watching somebody last night, on my phone. Some guy was streaming like some brand new game, right? And he told his audience, hey man, my views are too low, I'm out. And once he ended his stream, he put it at members only. And that was it. And he had like 150 people watching him play something, but he was like, man, he says, I've been streaming for 5 hours, I'm not at 1,000. He says, I'm out, fam. That was it. That was the only stream he did that night, too. He was like, I didn't get any super chats, I didn't get any members, I'm done. He didn't crash out or anything, he's just like, I'll try again tomorrow. And the dude had like, I think it was like 400,000 subscribers, 350, and he was playing Monster Hunter. So, I mean, it's happening to everybody on this platform. But the thing is, I've said this before, if they would have like a lot of YouTube shorts or even short like video clips, they could probably keep their channel stable while they live stream. And the thing is, if no content creators complain about this, it's never going to be fixed. Yeah, because we're shadow banned, we can't make a dent. We can't make any noise, we can't have any voice, we're ghosts. So the only thing we have is our audience, that's it. We have no way to help anybody, no way to do anything. We're just kind of like a ghost. We're like the Phantom. Was! Oh wait, no. I do cool. I don't want to do that again, I did pretty well. Call it Cop. Time Cop. Bum, 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 bum. That works. Oh, the brand new short I did, that 2-minute one, probably could be because it was a 2-minute short. Excuse me. You can make up to 3-minute shorts now. YouTube's encouraging people to do it. They want people to make, like, 3-minute shorts. And the funny thing is, they say the longer the short, the better it improves, but the short that went up today, that's, what, 2 minutes and 30 seconds that I spent a while editing. Did the Mario Kart one do well, too? Yeah, Mario Kart's over 1,000. The Hyrule Warriors one is over 1,000. The Mario Kart, or the, what's new with Switch 2, which I went over the most important things that gamers would like about the Switch 2. The 120 frames per second, the storage of the Switch, all that stuff. It took me about 30 minutes to edit that, like, down to 2 minutes or whatever. Because that was from Nintendo's online presentation. That was from the Nintendo Direct. So that was from the hour Nintendo Direct. I condensed that into 2 minutes. It only has 600 views after 8 in the morning. That's insane. So I don't agree with Nintendo saying, hey, or not Nintendo. I don't agree with YouTube saying, the longer the shorts you make, the better they do, because, case in point, that short bombed. And a short that's shorter in comparison, the Mario Kart thing is only a minute, and the Zelda one is 58 seconds. Yeah, so. Yep. Yeah, it's a 2-minute short. I condensed a 10-minute presentation into 2 minutes, only using the good stuff that people would care about. Resolution, the size of the Switch, the fact that it has a fan in it, the fact that it can go 4K, the fact that it can go 120 frames per second, the fact that it has a built-in sound thing. I didn't show the camera because I think the camera's stupid, and I don't think most gamers will care about the camera. Most gamers want storage, they want a better screen, better resolution, better sound. They want to know that their system is not going to overheat, for one. The fact that the Switch didn't have a built-in fan is insane to me, because how many people's Switches overheated the first 2 years of its release? There was all this stuff when the Switch released originally. People were complaining about overheating. And even we told people, we made a video that people made fun of us. They're like, your entertainment center's too dusty. Or something. Or, I see a speck. But I was actually going out of my way to show people how to prevent their system from overheating. And people were like crucifying us in the comments back then. And it's like, I didn't have to make that 5-minute video to show you jerks how, not you guys, but in the past, to show these jerks how to keep their Switch from overheating. I didn't need to do that. I did that out of the goodness of my heart because, you know, I was trying to be nice. You know, but I got eaten alive based on, I just had a little bit of dust. It wasn't even that dusty, and I didn't have time to clean every day because I'm busy. You know? But even with our Switch right now, we have a ventilated bookshelf. So no system is next to each other. The PlayStation 5 is underneath the Switch. The Switch is in a shelf all by itself with nothing there. The Xbox is, you know, in a place that's ventilated. And when the Switch 2 comes out... Oops, I killed a civilian. When the Switch 2 comes out, I'm not going to have my Switch downstairs anymore. Where the Switch is, that's where our Switch 2 is going to go. There's no reason to have it, have the original Switch down here anymore. I'll put that up in our bedroom. Although I don't really see a reason for it because Crunchyroll's busted. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but there was an error that happened with a lot of your streaming services on the Switch. Both Crunchyroll and Hulu are bugged, and Nintendo still hasn't fixed it. They've been bugged now for almost half a year. I did terrible. I'm going to do that again. No name. 1, 2, 1. 1 fail. Lame. Dumb. I think is a good name. There's one I don't know. I just called this something stupid. You guys want to... What do you think is my most used system on the Switch? Out of all the games we've ever covered, what has the most use? What do you think it is for my Switch? Not Amber Switch, my Switch, because Amber Switch broke 2 years ago. And we still need to put her details on the Zelda Switch she has upstairs. What do you think is the most watched thing or most used app on the Switch for the K-Wings? What was the most used app? Out of everything we've ever done on the Switch, and you guys know we've covered like 500-600 games for the Switch since 2017. What do you think the most used app was that has the most hours used on the Switch? My personal Switch. Any guesses? People might already know, but the amount of hours will shock you. I was surprised too when I erased the app. I was like, huh? How's that possible? That's more than Breath of the Wild. That's more than Smash Brothers. What? No, Nintendogs never came out to the Switch. That would have been an easy sell, though. I thought Nintendo Dogs was going to get ported from the DS on the Switch because it had a touchscreen. Nope. If I worked at Nintendo, it would be like, yeah, let's bring back Nintendogs. Nope. Dang it. Stupid gun to my face. Sorry. Wow. I'm so bad with motion controls, but this is really fun. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Did you know that Sega actually made a lot of light gun games? Like Time Virtua Cop and that fishing game where you shoot people and stuff like that. That's in that Yakuza thing. Yeah, Sega made a lot of these light gun games. I think they're called light gun games. I don't remember. On-rail shooters. I don't know. I just really like games. And games is like my TV and movies. I even like games more than anime, but anime is my hobby. Game's not really my hobby, it's my job. So it's like sometimes the gaming stuff gets overwhelming, because I game about 10 to 11 hours a day for work. So once work is over, if I don't have to grind, I want to watch anime, or I want to sleep. I don't want to do anything with gaming after I'm done streaming. I'm so exhausted. The K-Wings now stream longer than most streamers. Most streamers only stream about 4.5 to 5 hours a day. The K-Wings stream for almost 12 hours a day. And we're barely making ends meet. The only people that stream longer than us are in IRL streamers who stream like 12 hours or 24 hours, where they show themselves sleeping after they're done streaming. Once I lose, guys, I'm gonna look and see what you guessed about what our most used app on Nintendo Switch is, and I will tell you the hours, because I took a clip of how long the hours were used. Bam. Here comes the boss. Bam. Justice. Oh no! No! Oh, come on, I'm right on him! You see how this game, like, craps out sometimes? It's like, my cursor was right on it. Somebody guess Crunchyroll? Yes. Crunchyroll is the most used app on the Nintendo Switch at 850,000 hours. In comparison, my Breath of the Wild playtime for our Switch is at 410,000 hours. Crunchyroll was double that. That was the most used app, or most used thing on my Switch, and I was like, wait a second. How is that possible? But you have to remember, the Crunchyroll app came out in 2017. So I was using it every day on my downtime. Watching about like maybe an hour and a half of anime every day. With my dinner. I would get off work and I would watch anime. I probably have more watch time on my phone though, because my phone has Crunchyroll and I use that app all the time on my phone. But it's like it's the only downtime I have is only about like an hour and a half a day, and most of that downtime is used while eating to do other things. So yeah, that's what my life is like. So Crunchyroll is my only escape, and Nintendo broke the app, and it's never worked again. And it's never going to work again. I don't even know if they're going to fix it for Switch 2. And I'm too lazy to install it on PlayStation because I'd have to find my password, so I've only been watching Crunchyroll on my phone, like, for the past, like, 2 months now. Ever since the new anime season started, that's when it broke, I think. Right after Christmas. I think it was in January it busted. I don't remember. Game Wing's not surprised, yeah. Yep, my Breath of the Wild hourly stuff still dwarfs Tears of the Kingdom, though. We've only invested like 175 hours into Tears of the Kingdom compared to Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild had 3 playthroughs. Technically 4 because of Richard Taylor. But that's on a different account. So, but the Switch in general, like probably the most played game out of all the games is between Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Smash Brothers, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has 120,000 hours. I believe. Or it might even have 200,000. I don't remember. That's a lot, because we covered that extensively. And Amber also did community streams as well. She did 3 years of community streams of just Mario Kart. Which is pretty awesome if you think about it. And none of them got very many views. Exactly. Yep. But it showed Amber's dedication to community. That's why people saying that Amber wasn't good with community stuff, she went above and beyond the Call of Duty for 3 years. I couldn't even do it for 6 months before I went crazy. So, Amber pushed membership. She did a ton of stuff. So. Yep, a lot of people became members just to do members-only streams. Or member, community streams. Member rounds, yeah. Yep, the reason why we had to get rid of community streams, though, is because the community was becoming volatile. Yeah, there were no views for the streams because they wouldn't share the streams. And when they were in the streams, whether it was Among Us, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, there was always fighting. Like, we have a very chill community in our chat now. Like, we've had one for, like, 2 years. Because we stopped doing the community streams, people stopped fighting. Like, it was basically, we were, like, policing our chat all the time. Mods were timing people out. And it was just, mods were quitting because of pressure. And all the, yeah, people just were misbehaving all the time. It was like, it was a big part of what we streamed on this channel, but in the long run it wasn't worth it. Because it was like, most of the time we were just policing our chat and trying to keep people from wilding out. And at the same time, they weren't sharing the videos, they weren't watching the shorts. They weren't doing anything. They would come in, they would play, and then they would leave. Yeah. Yep, we had people unsubscribe because of all the arguing and stuff, too. Yep. Why do people argue on community streams? Because gamers get heated. We even had people argue over what color they were going to play in Among Us. Like, it was crazy. Like, there would people be cussing each other out because somebody picked their color. It was nuts. Yep, Amber had to... Not only was Amber, like, manning the stream, but also it's like she was policing the chat, and she was trying... Like, people were demanding her do things, and it just... She did that for 3 years, and then she was like, I'm never doing it again. Which, I mean, it makes sense. And we did lose members and stuff like that, but our community improved. And actually, our streaming numbers got better. And then it was just like the past... Ever since February, the end of February, streaming has been terrible. Because YouTube keeps removing subscribers every day from us. Like, we're... And when they do that, we don't get new subscribers. So it's like, our streams are suffering because we don't have 90 to 100 people anymore. Because they keep removing people every day. Like, they're unsubscribing people. And it's not like people are maliciously unsubscribing. It's like, these are active people that have been on our streams forever. And YouTube just unsubscribes them. People just forget about us. Because if you're not here and you're not active, the channel is easily replaced by hundreds of others on YouTube that are doing around the same thing. Because they're working channels. So it's very easy for a day to go by, or 2 days, or a week. And you just lose track of us because, like... There's so much other content that's being shoved in your face all the time. Like, the super active people are still here. That tells me that our most active viewers is around 60 to 70 people. Like, those are our most active people. And those are also people that are on our newsletter, because this stream got a spike in views when our newsletter went out at 5 o'clock, 5:30. But already, this stream is over 3 hours now. And still not at 900 views. So I can only go a little bit more. I'm trying to get 900 views, but I don't think it's going to happen. Because I haven't even eaten yet. So when Xenoblade is going on, I'm going to eat my first meal of the day, which will be cereal. But I think I am going to start the Mario Kart Marathon tonight after Xenoblade. It's going to be Super Mario Kart. Failed? What do you mean failed? Mean game. How dare you? How dare you say I failed? I know how to play Puyo Puyo. I know how to play it. This is actually the cleverest way to play Puyo Puyo ever. So people forget that Puyo Puyo is actually Sega's version of Tetris. Instead of bland-looking blocks like Nintendo, you have very expressive, you know, little eyes and stuff like that. These little blob characters. And I think that actually Puyo Puyo predates Dr. Mario. I can't prove this, but I think that Dr. Mario is a Nintendo, like, way to battle Sega. I don't know who came out first. Somebody would have to look that up for me. Did Puyo Puyo come out after Tetris before Dr. Mario? Or was Dr. Mario before Puyo Puyo? And Puyo Puyo is Sega's version of Dr. Mario. Because essentially it's the same thing if you think about it. Dr. Mario has cute little viruses that are different colors, and you have to match the colors to win. Puyo Puyo is the same way. You have different color shapes with eyes, and you have to match them up to win. So it's all about who came first. Was Dr. Mario first? Or was Puyo Puyo first? Then you'll know who was copying who. Because technically, Nintendo doesn't own Tetris. Tetris is owned by a Russian guy that licensed his game out to the brand new Game Boy because Nintendo wanted a killer game for their new portable system in the 80s. And it was Tetris. A lot of people think that Tetris is actually a Nintendo game. It's a licensed game that Nintendo bought the rights to use exclusively for a while. But eventually the dude who did Tetris, you know, sold it to other companies. And that's why Tetris is on basically every console known to man. Yeah. But there were a lot of people my age that always thought that Tetris was, you know, always a Nintendo game. And it's like, no, it's not a Nintendo property. Dr. Mario is the Nintendo Tetris. Love you too, man. Oh, I failed. Oops. Oops. If I'm being honest, guys and gals, I'm a really good streamer when I only have to stream for like 2 hours. Once I hit like over the 3-hour mark or the 4-hour mark, I tend to ramble because it's like, I've already used all my good material. I've already shown the same game. Like, variety is always my thing. So the fact that I'm being forced to stream longer is driving me crazy. And you could be like, well, you could just stop streaming. It's like, well, yeah, if I stop streaming, though, it impacts our hourly views, and it impacts our ability to even earn an income. I have to get this video as close to 900 views so that over the next 2 hours, it'll earn 100 views and we'll get paid. Get paid, you know, something for 1,000 views. But yeah, it is driving me crazy because I would only, like, even 2 years ago, my streams lasted, I did 5 live streams from 3 o'clock until midnight. 5. And each live stream was only an hour and a half long. And they easily got over 1,000 views. That's why I streamed so much. And it was less work than doing a Let's Play. Because I didn't have to do any editing. It was great. Nowadays, it's like, I have to almost stream as long as a Twitch streamer, which is like 5 to 6 hours a day for one stream. And now my streams are like, you know, I'm taking breaks and stuff, but ever since February 26th, everything changed. And it's really messing with my state of mind. Because it's taking my fun job and it's turning it into a hard job. It's turning K-Wing into a cranky puss. Pretty much. I'm becoming the guy from Up! Feels like it. I'm becoming the dude from Up, but I still have my wife, so... And I'm not that old. If anything, if you saw me on the Nintendo Direct reaction thing, I don't look that old at all. Still, which is weird. Yep. Because I am not that young. I'm not that old, but I'm not that young either. And if I shaved, I would look way younger. But I don't want to. I've had a goatee so long that if I got rid of it, I'd look so weird. I'd probably scare myself. Be like, what? What's going on? I'm still going with the column. So, can anybody tell me, did Dr. Mario come first or Puyo Puyo? I'm really curious. Because Puyo Puyo is a Sega brand. I'm pretty sure. Unless it was a guest thing, but I'm pretty sure Puyo Puyo was Sega. Sega! Why are you sorry? You're fine. I'm just, you know, playing the same game for 3 hours while trying to be entertaining is not easy. It's not. Yeah, Link is in your spot right now. He'll probably claw you. Well, I can't have pizza right after this. I have to eat cereal first. Cereal's the first meal of the day, and then I'll have pizza like later during... Because I'll have at least 2 or 3 breaks for Xenoblade. Probably. I have no choice. Like, if I stream for exactly 4 hours without taking a break, the amount of views that I'm going to get for that stream will be 700. For whatever reason, when I go on break, the views increase. Because I'm not here monitoring it. You know, it's just the constant music over and over again. I wish I had a variety of music, but, you know, copyright prevents that. Eventually we'll have to change the music that we're using, though, because someone who knows that game will be like, wait a second. Wait a second, that's an unreleased song. Why are you using it? Today is Thursday. Why, what's Friday? They say they're coming Saturday, I hope so. If they are, then I need to upload that 5-hour Ace Attorney video. I'm killing it right now. There's just something so relaxing about Puyo Puyo. It doesn't seem like this would be relaxing, but I like this minigame the most. The other minigame I really like in the Sega tennis game is the one where you beat up the zombies. That one's really fun. And I like the Virtua Cop thing. Oh, yeah, this one. I should hope so. Yeah, I have, well, if I know what their plans are, I can try to make an effort and do the best I can. Because I would have to upload the video. I need to know what's going on. Because Saturday is my Suikoden day, so I need to know what's happening. So I can plan accordingly. Yoink. Yoink. I know I usually 10 a.m. What? Curse you, game. Whoa! Wait, is this endless? Man, I'm good. Wait, I don't know if this is endless or not. Yep, so anyway, guys, after Xenoblade, there will be a Mario Kart stream. Super Mario Kart. Except I'm going to make a really clickbaity thumbnail, just so you know. It's going to say, Road to Mario Kart World. And it's going to have the brand new render of Mario on it. And then, I don't know what else I'm going to do. You have to understand that we have to do clickbait. It's the only way that people will come. Wow. I would try to call him, your sister-in-law. Because right now, if it's... What time is it? Is it 6 o'clock? 6 something? So I would call her now because it's, like, dinner time. It's highly likely... If she shuts off her phone, that's not cool, but... Right, but we called her... Can we call her early in the morning, though? Was it, like, 7 or 8 in the morning? Oh, it's 10:30 at night? Yeah, she probably... Oh, 10:30 in the morning. Well, right now, they might be eating, so... Okay. Okay. Well, we don't need to... Right. We don't need to know their plans until, like, at least, like, sometime Friday. Okay. Alright, honey. I'm doing the best I can. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours and 30 minutes. I'm losing my mind here. This is the only joy I have is playing this Tetris thing. I'm streaming, I'm trying to hit 900. Like what? How is it still only 870? Holy crap. 3 hours and 17 minutes, 870. What in the world? Yeah, I can't do it anymore. It's the channel views are too low. The stream is not even gonna give me 900 views.
Honey, I'm sorry for...
No, I'm upset. I'm upset. I'm streaming my heart out here. Doing. No. It doesn't matter, honey. They have us view locked. Okay, that's what this means. 10 minutes ago, that was 870. It's still 870. Okay.
I have a lot of... If people are gonna come here, I have to clean the lawn.
Wait. We're not talking about cleaning right now. So anyway, guys, we gotta jump to Xenoblade. So the music's gonna run. I'm gonna set up the Mario Kart thing, and this was the last Sonic stream. So thank you, Miss Deanna, for the super chats. I believe it was only Miss Deanna. Let me double check. Miss Deanna and Jotaro. Okay, thank you both of you guys. Really appreciate that. Without Miss Deanna and Jotaro, this stream would be worthless. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. It would be great if you guys would, rewatch the stream so we can get it up to 1,000, because the more streams that hit below 1,000 for the afternoon really impacts us. Like, every stream we do, YouTube continues to substantially lower what views they give us per stream. Like, they'll make streaming for 300 or streaming for 3 hours 800 views every single time. So I pushed myself and pushed and tried to get 900. I can't even get 900. They gave me 872. Excuse me. It was 870 for 10 minutes. They gave me 1 view in the past 10 minutes. So anyway, I gotta get Xenoblade popping, so you guys can help by watching the shorts, as always. I'm sorry, but I am losing it, because this is torture. This is actual torture. Like, this is insane. But I hope you guys enjoyed the Sonic coverage. The next Sonic game we'll be playing, I don't know. We have a Sonic PS3 racing game, but I want to do that closer to release of the game. We're going to start our Mario Kart thingy tonight, and then Mario Kart will be all this week, and then we'll be looking at some brand new games finally the 3rd week of April. So right around April 14th, April 15th will be brand new releases. There's nothing new until then. So we're going to be doing a Mario Kart marathon starting April 3rd all the way through April 14th. And then, like, Mario Kart will still happen, but it won't be, like, a lot to try to do stuff. And we're going to find ways of milking it. Like, maybe we'll play as every character in Mario Kart Wii or something like that. Or Double Dash. We're going to make the series last as long as we can. Because we need to, because there's no new games. There's none. This has been the longest game drought I've seen in my career. But, yeah, head on over to Xenoblade, guys. We're going to be progressing the story tonight. That is a guarantee. Thank you guys so much for watching the shorts. Thank you for the super chats. And, sorry the Sonic series didn't do well. I tried. But there's only so much I can physically do without, like, going mentally crazy. Like, I'm fighting an abusive employer. Like, insane. Absolutely insane. Alright, guys. God bless. Happy gaming. See you on Xenoblade, which will be starting up in, like, a few minutes.